Genetics is a study of heredity and variation in inherited characters. What is heredity? Heredity is the transfer of characters from one generation to the next, and variation is a change in these inherited characters. That variation is basically the root cause of the genetic diversity. Whenever we learn about genetics, a term gene clicks our mind. So, what is gene? Gene is a specific sequence of nucleotides in DNA or RNA that has specific functional product, mostly in the form of polypeptide chains. These polypeptide chains forms the proteins, and these proteins control all the body functions as well as keep the body in a composed form. So, what is genetic character? Genetic character is any attribute of an organism that can exist in different forms, known as traits. So, what are traits? Traits are the different forms of the characters. These traits are also known as variants. For example, eye color is character that has various traits like blue, black, brown. Traits further decide your phenotype. Phenotype is the physical appearance of an organism. That phenotype depends upon the genotype, that is a genetic makeup of an organism. So, in a diploid individual, chromosomes are present in the form of a pair known as homologous chromosomes. Homologous chromosomes have same size, same length, same centromere position, same genes or genetic material at same locus. Genes are present on these chromosomes. It means each gene exists in two copies. So, alternative copy of the gene is known as allele. Suppose we have a gene A and gene A is present on homologous chromosome. It means gene A may contain two copies, or if the copy of the gene on homologous chromosome same, then it is known as homozygous condition. For example, A and A means homologous chromosome contains same copy of the gene, and copy of the gene or allele might be different that is present on homologous chromosome. That condition is known as heterozygous. For example, A and A1. So here both A and A1 are controlling the same character, but traits controlled by these alleles might be different. In case of heterozygosity, when both alleles are different from each other, then the allele that expresses itself phenotypically is the dominant, while the other allele who cannot express itself in the presence of dominant allele, that is known as recessive. So, dominant allele causes dominant phenotype, while recessive allele causes recessive phenotype. For example, if a plant height is controlled by a gene T, so gene T can exist in three conditions or three genotypes, that is homozygous for capital T, heterozygous condition, and homozygous for small t. The first two genotypes are responsible for tall phenotype, while the third genotype is responsible for dwarf. As the second condition is heterozygous, and in this heterozygous condition, phenotype is tall, that indicate that tall allele is dominant over dwarf. So obviously tall phenotype is dominant and dwarf phenotype is recessive. So dwarf condition will express phenotypically only in case of homozygosity.